Zig Ziglar. Ziglar. Inspiring true performance.
Hello, everybody. My name is Blake Lindsay. Welcome to the weekly podcast, the Ziglar podcast that we love to do for you at no charge. Every week, we have a lot of inspiration. This is Jill Tibbles to my left.
Hi.
And Mr. Ziglar. We are really glad to be here today. And this is one of our first video podcasts, so we are excited about that. Mr. Ziglar, you recently turned 80 years old. What are some of the things that are the most important to you now at this stage of your life?
Number one importance is to be 81.
That's a good goal.
Yeah. People occasionally ask me, when are you going to retire? One fellow even said, I heard you had retired. I said, man, you weren't listening. I said, I was refired. I'm not going to ease up, let up, shut up, or give up until I'm taken up. Matter of fact, I'm just getting warmed up. And I know this sounds ridiculous when you've had that 80th birthday, but I really believe the best years of my career are still in front of me.
That's exciting.
My energy is still extremely high. I'm still learning new things. People are still responding. I would be bored to death if I were to even think about sitting down for a day, much less making it a permanent sit down.
Well, you just said you're still learning things. I'm curious to know, what are some things that are catching your interest now? What are you still learning?
The increasing importance of the relationships you build in life. Nearly 100% of all counseling is directly or indirectly related to relationships. Husband-wife, parent-child, teacher-student, employer-employee, neighbor-neighbor, sibling-sibling. And so if we can handle our relationships problem effectively, that leaves us free to concentrate on the other parts of our life. So relationships, and incidentally, the late Cabot Robert did a significant study by both Stanford and the other top universities, and what he found was this, that your people skills are more important to your career than any other single thing. 85% of the reason you get a job and keep it is because of your people skills.
Wow.
And 46% of the people who voluntarily leave their jobs do so because they do not feel respected and or appreciated. So getting along is very important.
It certainly is.
You said something about you felt like your energy level had never been so high. I know people are curious. What do you do to keep your health and to keep your energy level?
First of all, Jill, years ago, in 1972, I got on a sensible eating and exercise program.
Mm-hmm. We don't want to hear that.
Oh, you don't want
we want to hear a magic. We want to hear a magic pill sort of thing.
Well, I think exercise is important. I do the aerobic exercises. I also do the weightlifting. I had to ease up on the weightlifting because I was bulking up. A lot of folks thought I was on steroids.
Uh-oh.
And, you know, you got to protect your reputation, so I concentrate on that. And I don't worry. I really do not worry. And worry is one of the most de-energizing things that you can do when you worry about everything that comes along, and nobody knows what's going to happen, even the rest of this day, much less the rest of their life. So my optimism and my faith keeps me going with enthusiasm to make every day a day to remember, a day where you've encouraged somebody else to do something. That's where joy comes from, and joy is a great energizer.
I am grateful for your joy and your inspiration. And I got to tell you, a lot of people don't know that I'm totally blind in both eyes. But if I were to meet you and didn't know you, I would guess you to be 55 years old.
Well, that would be partially right, because I have had 55 birthdays. But
And a few more. Well, you know, I remember your stories about when you were out jogging. Well, first of all, learning to jog and going to the block and the mailbox, and then learning to love to jog. And I'm making a huge assumption here that you don't jog anymore. What kind of aerobic exercise do you do?
Well, I have a little hip problem, and so I cannot walk any longer or jog any longer long enough to stay in good shape. So a couple of years ago, I bought a Schwinn Airdyne bicycle. And I can get a good part of my exercise while I'm sitting down right there on that bicycle. And then 25% of the time I stand up. And it's amazing how much more energy it burns and develops as a result of it. When you're ready to do those turns, it just gives you that lift and the excitement, the energy. I've got so many things I want to do. I just got to stay in good shape in order to do that. But the energy that comes from sensible eating, lack of worry, the exercise itself, and my faith, all of those things combine to give me a lot of energy and excitement about tomorrow. I can't wait for every day to get here.
Wow. I like that kind of energy. And, you know, it's just inspirational to hear that. I use the same bicycle you do, in fact. We get a lot of energy on that. But I also listen to your CDs when I'm on the bike.
Oh.
And that keeps me energized, too.
There you go.
Well, if you use the same bicycle I do, you must sneak in when I'm not there.
Because you've never seen him on it?
I've never seen you on it, Blake. That's right. But I'm glad to know you're doing the same thing I'm doing.
People ask me this question about you quite a bit, so I'm going to ask you. How much are you traveling now, and kind of what are your plans for the future?
I travel. I have about 40 commercial engagements a year that involve some travel. Virtually all of them I go out one day and come back in the next day. And also I teach a Sunday school class 45 times a year. I write a book a year, so I'm
busy.
I'm still very busy and having more fun than ever. I really am. I just love you know, to have a career, and Dr. Howard Hendricks says, your career is what you're paid for, your calling is what you're made for. Well, I've had a wonderful career, very productive, very exciting, but my calling is to encourage other people. Now, hope's the foundational quality of all change, but encouragement is the fuel on which hope runs. I married an encourager, and we will soon celebrate our 60th honeymoon. And I got to tell you, the combination of having the good advantage at home court advantage is really significant. That contributes a lot to energy and every form of success because it keeps balance in your life.
Well, those are some things to ponder.
Absolutely. People skills, 85% of the reason you get a job and keep a job. I'm going to remember that. That's very important. And all the things that you said, 60 anniversaries, that's great. I love to hear that. We appreciate you tuning in today for our video podcast. It's free. Make sure you tell somebody about it. We are having a blast. It's great to have Mr. Ziglar here. 80 years he's been around, and the last 40 has inspired so many thousands of people, and hope he inspired you today. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week on the Inspire Podcast.
Zig Ziglar. Inspiring true performance.